Field Marshal Lord Montgomery of Alamein recently spent a very busy day saying goodbye to the British Army of the Rhine. Personal farewells and group photographs with members of his staff, officers and other ranks were features of the proceedings at his headquarters at Bad Oeynhausen. Later, his car was hauled by warrant officers and sergeants of his headquarters through the streets of the town. This was the end of one of the greatest commands in the history of the British Army. Monty and his men had marched and conquered all the way from Alamein to the Baltic. Now the Field Marshal was leaving to take up his new appointment as CIGS. Undoubtedly, Monty will always be remembered not only as the general who won victories, but also as the man who inspired all ranks with complete confidence in his command. Jack Harper of Australia met Derek Barton, England, in the men's final of the hard court championships at Bournemouth, a useful pointer to Wimbledon. Barton is the youngest of the British Davis Cup players. He was outplayed and lost in straight sets. Victory for Australia. The women's final, Jean Bostock versus Kay Minges, better known as Kay Stammers. Already in the top flight before the war, Kay retained her beautiful style but went down 6-3, 6-4. In 1939, her 23-year-old opponent, Jean Nicol, was a mere girl. A convincing win by Jean Bostock. On this form, she is Britain's outstanding woman player. Sport at this time of the year tends to overlap. For instance, the All India team have opened their tour with a match against Worcestershire. Skippered by the Nawab of Pataudi, seen here front row centre between Merchant and Amanat, the Indians are a keen, representative side. At Worcester, Pataudi won the toss but put the county in, and our cameramen made a few notes of Indian form. Their leading fast bowler is Banerjee, who comes from Bihar to make his second tour over here. The Nawab himself once made 238 not out for Oxford against Cambridge, and he's as popular on the field as off. Probably Mankad supplies the Indians' trickiest form of attack. He is in fact a sort of Indian Verity. Unfortunately, it was anything but cricket weather, but when cricket starts, you'll always find at least one optimist who thinks the sun is bound to shine. After dismissing Worcester for 191, the Indians went in to show what they could do. Merchant was one of their opening pair, and he made a rather careful 24 in spite of accident. His partner was Mushtaq Ali. You may remember his century at Manchester in 1936. Today he was out at 14, caught Buller off Howard. Amanat, the fine all-rounder, didn't last long. In fact, he only just broke his duck before being caught by Bird. Though they passed Worcester's first innings score, it was a wet and chilly opening to the tour, and we can only hope the English weather will soon be more kind to the visitors and to the game. In a rainy interval, the Nawab had a few words from Overtone's Mike.
I'm very glad to be back in Worcester. It's my home country, as you might say, my hometown, and I'm looking forward to the match here. I'm told you've got 3 tests. I hope we'll have sunny weather for it, and we'll try and give a good game.
Thousands of racegoers were at Newmarket for the 2,000 guineas, and a large number of them, concerned about the prospects of Khaled or Gulfstream, must have been completely shattered by the result of the race. Many old, familiar faces were on the course. In fact, the atmosphere was almost pre-war in many respects. Even the car park looked full up, and there was a definite hint of things to come in the existence of a park for planes, even if it wasn't exactly widely patronized on this occasion. Before the race, most of the talk was of Lord Derby's hope and the Aga Khan's and the French chance of winning, but they say that the winner was in fact well tipped in Newmarket itself. However that may be, Happy Night was 28-1 when the field got away on the Rowley Mile. Maharaj Kumar, Bridle Path, Happy Night, Fairy Fulmar and Aldous Lamp made the running from the start. But presently the camera recorded Bridle Path, number 10, well in front, with Happy Night, number 12, running second and beginning to move up. Happy Night indeed was always there or thereabouts, and in the run-in it was quite obvious that Sir William Cook's big colt had the race in the bag. With Western up he won easily from Khaled, with Radiotherapy third, causing violent fluctuations in the betting on the Derby. On Wearside, Sunderland, Princess Elizabeth has christened and launched a new addition to the fleet of the Merchant Navy.
I name this ship British Princess. May God bless her and all who sail in her.
The British Princess is a 12,000-ton oil tanker, an urgently needed replacement for a company which lost 44 ships by enemy action. In a speech after the launching, Her Royal Highness paid tribute to the men of the tankers who knew their ships were the bullseye of every enemy attack. Happily, those days are over, and the tanker fleets are now being built up again. It was in November 1944 that Princess Elizabeth launched Britain's mightiest battleship. She was the Vanguard, though the name couldn't be disclosed at that time. The Princess named her at the christening, but the censors got to work on the soundtrack.
And may God bless her.
All we knew then was that she was the first of 4 ships of the Lion class, projected as early as 1938 and presumed to be 40,000-ton vessels. Now, in May 1946, the sole representative of the class has left her fitting out yard on the Clyde. HMS Vanguard, 42,500 tons, built at a cost of some £11 million, puts to sea for her trial. Her main armament of 8 15-inch guns, unlike those of the King George V class, are mounted in pairs in 4 turrets. Her appearance, too, varies considerably in many respects, as you'll notice. Her square stern, the upward sweep of the bows, the shape of the funnels and their cowls, all these are at once distinctive. Quickly out of her yard, the huge battleship was eased gently downriver, and a gallant sight she must have made for all who watched her impressive progress. It's reported that many modern improvements will add greatly to the comfort of the ship's company when Vanguard is commissioned, and as for her fighting power, well, that goes without saying. How and when warship design will be affected by future developments in this atomic age is at present beyond conjecture. Meanwhile, however, the Royal Navy's newest and most powerful ship goes on her way to the sea. Off Greenock, she meets the world's greatest liner, the Queen Elizabeth, 85,000 tons, now discarding her war paint in preparation for the beginning of full peacetime service. Good luck to both great ships and to all who sail in them.